How have Christian teachings made cultures more just and compassionate? Through the centuries, Christianity has influenced many cultures around the world to become more just and compassionate. Grounded in the teachings of the Bible, Christians have been at the forefront of advocating for justice, compassion, and the well-being of all people. 1. At the core of Christianity is a loving and just God who cares deeply for the welfare of humanity. 2. The Bible emphasizes the commandment to love one's neighbor as oneself. Mark chapter 12 verse 31. 3. Micah chapter 6 verse 8 exhorts believers to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with God. 4. Isaiah chapter 1 verse 17 encourages believers to care for the poor and the oppressed. Christians have been inspired by biblical teachings to help widows, orphans, the poor, the sick, the dying, and to work for justice around the world. Christians led efforts to abolish slavery. Historically, slavery has been a common practice all over the world. This includes in Africa, Asia, and in the Middle East, not just in the West. Before Christianity, ancient empires almost universally practiced slavery. Examples include the Hittite, Assyrian, Persian, Babylonian, Greek, and Roman empires. And similar practices were endemic in kingdoms and empires all around the world. Even today, slavery exists in many countries, as indentured servitude, or human trafficking associated with the drug trade, or forced prostitution, or forced conscription into urban gangs, or into third-world militias. The compassionate effects of Christianity. Jesus taught love and compassion towards everyone, friends, family, and even towards those who hate and oppress Christians. As a result, early Christians practiced love and compassion towards everyone. The Roman Empire initially persecuted and killed Christians. However, Christianity spread throughout the empire, and ultimately the Emperor Constantine proclaimed tolerance for Christians. As the Roman Empire became more Christianized, the brutality of Roman slavery, and Roman gladiatorial fights, and public executions of slaves in the arena were all gradually abolished. Christians took care of widows, orphans, the poor, the sick, and the dying, and society as a whole became more compassionate as a result. In the West, the culture was a mixture of pre-Christian values, including slavery, and Christian values, the equality of all humans before God. Pre-Christian tribes would go to war, and the spoils of war included captured slaves. This pre-Christian cultural mindset enabled slavery to exist in the West. However, the Bible teaches that all humans are equal before God. And the New Testament tells slave owners to free their slaves and accept them as brothers. Galatians chapter 3 verse 28 states, "There is neither slave nor free, for you are all one in Christ Jesus." This verse was viewed as the Magna Carta of the Christian movement to abolish slavery. During the 18th and 19th centuries, Christian abolitionists like William Wilberforce in England and Harriet Beecher Stowe in the United States drew on such biblical principles to advocate for the abolition of the slave trade and the emancipation of enslaved individuals. They highlighted the inherent dignity and worth of all human beings, as proclaimed in the Bible, and condemned the dehumanizing practice of slavery. Christian abolitionists formed coalitions, published influential literature, and engaged in advocacy, ultimately contributing to the dismantling of the transatlantic slave trade and the abolition of slavery in various nations. Christianity and the Civil Rights Movement. The abolition of slavery did not immediately result in full civil rights for the freed slaves and their descendants. Non-Christian societal belief in the alleged evolution of humans did not help, since that supported a false view of inferior and superior races. That belief provided a cultural mindset in which color-based discrimination could exist. However, the Bible teaches the equality of all humans before God. This inspired the Civil Rights Movement in the United States. Led by figures like Martin Luther King Jr., a Baptist minister, the movement sought to challenge racial segregation and discrimination, seeking justice and equality for African Americans. Drawing on biblical teachings of love, nonviolence, and the equality of all before God, Christian leaders played a crucial role in organizing peaceful protests, advocating for civil rights legislation, and promoting a vision of a more just and compassionate society. This led to equal legal civil rights in the U.S., irrespective of race or color. Conclusion. Through the centuries, Christians have been inspired by biblical teachings of love, justice, and compassion to engage in various social causes. From the abolition of slavery to the civil rights movement and beyond, Christianity has played a pivotal role for positive change in society. Key issues today include freedom of conscience, freedom of religion, persecution of Christians around the world, human suffering from the drug trade, human trafficking, involuntary prostitution, indentured servitude around the world. Inspired by biblical teachings, Christians can continue to be a transformative force, working towards a more just, compassionate, and harmonious world. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And watch other videos on our channel.